So if you've been farming this chest for a while now, you probably noticed that whenever you go to salvage an item, the salvage button isn't always in the same place, depending on whether it's a ranged item or not. Well, an equipable ranged item or not. And I've noticed a quick way to solve this, regardless, is you can just hit up, and it always takes you to the salvage button. Well, made a quick way to get around that on my mouse. I set up a button where if I press 4 on here, it right clicks and then presses WW space really quick, so I can automatically go through here and salvage whatever I click on or whatever I hover over without really paying attention to whether it's equipable or not. So if you look, watch my hands, I'll just press 4 on here. And see, it doesn't matter whether it's a bow, a staff, a sword, it's going straight to the salvage button. And if you don't have a macroable mouse like this, I'll also show you how you can set this up with Power Automate. So first I'll show you on the mouse. Here we go. So this is where I have all my macros set to which button. So it shows them there, and then you click here and pick which macro. But I'm just going to go in here and set up a new macro. Here's the one I actually built, but I'll just redo it. Enshrouded, salve 2. And then we'll do a start record, and we'll go WW space, stop record. And I'll make this a little bit quicker. I'll just go 75 milliseconds, 125 milliseconds, 75 milliseconds, 125 milliseconds, 75 milliseconds. Just to make it a lot quicker. And then I'll insert a right button down and then put in a quick delay. So like 125 milliseconds. And you can time that however you want. And I'll save this. You see it says Enshrouded salve 2. So I'll come over here to button 4. Replace my salvage button with Enshrouded salve 2. Now if I do it, works just the same. So if you don't want to get a macroable mouse, you can just build macros, like custom macros on your computer with different applications. One of the ones I use often is Power Automate. So if you just download it from Microsoft, it's free to download, doesn't need any subscription or anything. You might need to have a free Microsoft account with your email or something. Once you download it, just go here and hit New Flow. Make sure you download the desktop version, not the web version. And then we'll give this flow a name. We'll name it Enshrouded. We'll call it Enshrouded because there's a lot more space on here. And Salvage tool. And then we'll wait for it to pull up. Now here's the flow window, and on here you can search all the different actions. If you click each of these, they expand, and there's a lot you can do with it. But I'm just going to keep this really simple, and I'm just going to do send mouse key or send mouse click. Set it to right click. Say 200 milliseconds in between actions, and then send keys, and we'll send WW and then a space. We'll actually send text as hardware keys, and that got rid of the space, so we'll have to re-add that. And I'll set the delay to 150 milliseconds. And then we'll have a wait for a shortcut key. And I'm going to set this to Alt Q. And then we'll add a loop. And you can set this pretty high, like you can set this to whatever your needs are. I could just put in like 1,000,000 if I wanted. And then I'd have to press, oh wait, for some reason it's defaulting back to Control A. Let me click this, click Alt, Q, save. There we go. So now if I click Alt Q, it'll right click and then hit WW space and then loop back to waiting for Alt Q. So I can just move my mouse and hit Alt Q over and over to get this working. So here I'll hit run. It's parsing. Okay, now it's running. So now we'll go in here. And on any item I want to salvage, I'll just Alt Q. No, maybe Alt wasn't the right choice. Shift Q. Yeah, let's go back to Power Automate and change that to a Shift Q. There we go. Okay, it's working. I do notice one thing. If I hold down Shift or Q, it doesn't work. I have to let go of it in between each one. But that's one way you could macro it if you don't want to buy a macroable mouse.